the source of everything what is in cafeteria. That's the magic happened there. I became a singer officially in that cafeteria. My whole life I was like, my biggest dream is to be on stage with Stevie Wonder. And when I did that, I came back home, I changed my bio online. Like, I actually sang with Stevie Wonder. We all need to have to go through that experience to find yourself, and you choose either you're gonna go down after that or you're gonna go up. I was so, oh my God, I was so scared after Black Cats. First of all, I was crying from love and fear. Like the last gig I had with Black Cats was, I was in tears the whole gig. It was horrible.
It's August 27, 2026. This is Roqe. Well, hi there. Welcome to episode 458 of Roqe. I'm Jian Ghomeshi. Hello to you. Salam Dustan Aziz. Durud bar shoma. I hope you're doing okay wherever you are tuning in from around the world. This is an end of summer special pre-taped episode as we gear up for the launch of our brand new season of Roqe in a couple of weeks. Thursday, September 10th. It'll be the 8th season of Roqe. In the meantime, on this episode, we want to share with you one of our absolute favorite guests and a very memorable interview, originally recorded July 27th, 2023. Now, he grew up in France, built his career in Los Angeles, and has become one of the defining voices of modern Persian pop music as a brilliant singer and songwriter and musician. From his breakout days with the legendary Black Cats to a successful solo career and to becoming one of the artists who used his platform to stand with the people of Iran during various uprisings. He has been on the show a few times, but this was our first official conversation. And it's a thoughtful one about music, about identity, exile, finding your own voice. The talented Kamyar, coming right up, Redux. Let's get to it. All right, let me tell you about Tikatel. Today's episode of Roqe is brought to you with the support of Tikatel. Here's a simple truth about running a business. Every call is an opportunity and every customer is an asset. But if you're busy with another client in a meeting or simply can't get to the phone in time, that opportunity can disappear in minutes. That's where Tikatel comes in. Their smart business platform helps make sure no customer gets forgotten with intelligent call routing, an AI receptionist, instant text replies when you can't answer, and one place to manage your calls, messages, and customer relationships. And it doesn't stop there. Tikatel also helps you stay connected with your customers through AI-powered follow-ups and easy SMS campaigns, making it simple to promote your business, announce a special offer, or remind people why they chose you in the first place. If you're looking to grow your business without letting valuable opportunities slip away, visit tikatel.ca. Our thanks to Tikatel for supporting Roqe. And this episode of Roqe is brought to you with the support of Avoca Chocolates. They have a brand new location in Toronto. I want to tell you about it. We're thrilled to have this company as one of our sponsors. Noni Fenby and her staff at Avoca have been making handmade artisanal chocolate in Toronto for over 30 years. Family owned and operated, they have dedicated themselves to the art of making delicious treats, including truffles and ice cream and gelato. Made without compromise, Avoca has focused on high-quality ingredients with fair trade chocolate, all made fresh daily in one of their 2 locations in East Toronto. They've just opened a brand new spot. It's at 689 Broadview Avenue in Riverdale in Toronto. If you are in the Toronto area, go visit one of their great chocolate shops. Thank them for their support and taste these delicious handmade chocolates and ice cream and gelato. If you can't go in person, that's okay. You can find their products online at avocachocolates.com. Thank you again, Avoca. All right, here we go. My featured guest today is a super talented star and an Iranian-French singer-musician based in LA. Look, if you're a fan of Iranian pop, you may just have heard his dynamic voice. Take a listen to this. There you go. Little taste of A. John from 2010 and the album Dobareh. That is Kamyar. Born in Tehran, raised in Paris, Kamyar started playing the piano from a young age. He attended a classic conservatoire in Paris, honing his piano skills. But when attending the Sorbonne for an English degree, his singing voice became more and more of what he was known for. In 2003, he relocated to Los Angeles to venture into the Persian music industry, soon joining the legendary band Black Cats. After that, he embarked on a solo journey, releasing his debut album, Dobareh. He is influenced by R&B, Middle Eastern music, folk music, and he's been very outspoken during the uprising of the last 10 months in Iran and has released music and done performances in support. He also recently released a brand new song with Babak Amini. We will get to all of that. But first, Kamyar joins me from Los Angeles today. Hello, sir.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Jian. Hope you guys are doing great. Thank you for having me from actually Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Oh, well,
Yeah,
even better. Even better.
yeah,
I saw that you actually, one of the first demonstrations you attended after the killing of Mahsa Amini was in Las Vegas. So is that where you're kind of based now?
yeah. I mean, the main place where I live is in Las Vegas. We moved here after I got married, and I think it was approximately 5 years ago. I would never ever think that I would move to Vegas, but it's actually a really cool city. And it's funny because people always tell me, especially the non-Persian one, like, oh, you're an entertainer, that's why you live in Las Vegas, because you have all your shows there. Well, absolutely not. Actually, no, my shows are all around the world, maybe few times here and there in Vegas, but actually I went there to really have peace, to have a even to I live just by the mountains, and I just want to be more by myself and be more productive here.
It's
And
actually it's actually a really big city. I mean, Vegas is known for that strip, but it's actually one of the bigger cities in the U.S. and quite a diverse and dynamic city, right?
yes, it is. It's incredible. But the funny thing is that I myself was a victim when I thought of Vegas before. Like 90% of the people, when my best friends here told me, but check the city, you want to buy a house, you don't need to buy it in LA or Orange County or whatever. Come check it. But I was like, come on, the street. I mean, the hotels, pool party, a strip club. Where would my house be? What the hell? And I realized very fast that I was a victim too, because Vegas is not only about that. That's actually just a small percentage. There's a real life. It could be very family oriented. Like some part actually reminds you of Irvine, Orange County. Like it
But
even has a big lake.
but
But
you love France so much. I mean, we're going to get into your upbringing, etc. But you always talk about how much you love France. Is living in France not an option?
well, I mainly live here, but because I grew up in Paris and my very close immediate family, like my parents, my two brothers, and all my childhood friends, they all live there. So I get to travel there a lot. So sometimes I feel like I live in Paris too. I mean, Paris is not really missing in my life, thank God.
Kamyar, I'm really happy to have you on the show. I'm curious when I start off with a song like "Hey John." I'm always I have one. I have a couple voices in my head. One going, "Well, we got to play the big hit that people recognize. One of the big hits that people recognize you from." On the other hand, I think as an artist, I think, "Oh God, the poor guy, like he's coming on here. It's 15 years ago that or 13 years ago that song. Is he going to be annoyed by playing something from his back catalog like that? Do you still love that song, or are you the kind of artist that feels like an earlier hit like that no longer represents you?
I mean, the the way I sing the song, the soul that you can find in it, the scale I'm singing, which is mostly blues in a way. It's a 6/8 rhythm, but the spirit is actually there's nothing really Persian about it beside the 6/8. It's a very modern 6/8. There's no zarb, there's no, you can kind of dance Persian to it, but it's very soulful as far as the singing. You know, if you take the music off, and if I sing that a cappella, for example, it becomes very blues. So that's really
Go
me. But
for it. Go for it.
well, I think it's too early right now.
It's not that early. You have such a great voice. It doesn't matter, but go ahead. Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not gonna really sing it, but it's just the spirit of it. If I take the rhythm out, it's like میدونی چشمام به تو میافته قلبم یهو پایین میریزه تا تو میای. So that becomes, it's like I'm taking you to Harlem, you know, it's
Yeah.
Motown, you know, and that's why, that's the spirit that I love. That's really me. But maybe today, maybe I would not say a John Labosho, for example, maybe not. But this is a part of me. It goes with that time. This is what I wanted to say. Maybe now I would say things different. But I love this song.
I
Might
love
not be it, but I love it.
I love that answer, and I love where you went with it, because actually soul singing is where I wanted to go off the top of this interview. You know, you and I have a lot in common in as much as we were kids who grew up outside of Iran, albeit you in France, me in the UK and Canada. But one thing I really feel connected to you with is the love of Stevie Wonder. And
Yes.
I've always thought you're such a tremendous singer, but when I found out you also worship at the altar of Stevie, as I do, I could hear his influence in you. Tell me when you discovered him and how Stevie Wonder has been a role model.
Well, I started the music playing piano until actually I was studying at the Sorbonne in Paris at this very special cafeteria between like classes. And that cafeteria in Sorbonne changed completely my life because there are so many artists. So I spend hours in the cafeteria. I think I started to spend more time in the cafeteria than being in the class, seriously. So I felt like I became a local star without knowing in that university, like people from all around the world. That's really amazing because this is the best university for languages. People travel from all around the world. You see all cultures, and you have more chance to see artists because you can study cinema there, movie stuff like that. And when I was staying there, I had a couple friends, people that I met there, like especially one a black friend, black French person who was singing R&B, and I realized, oh shit, I'm not singing. I mean, I could kind of sing, or in a very shy way, I would say, secretly. But and he starts singing some Stevie Wonder, some Lionel Richie, Marvin Gaye. I was like, oh shit, and I start getting frustrated because I felt the piano is not enough. I feel like I'm just finding out that I need something else. So when I start becoming more curious about singing, and with the huge influence of my big brother, Bobak, my oldest brother, who actually was a very big influence, he really introduced me in a very deep way, I would say, to all the black influence reggae music. Well, symbolically Bob Marley, but there's much more to reggae.
Hmm.
Reggae and R&B soul, like, and he and at that time I really was listening to Michael Jackson, which he loved it, but he started getting tired of Michael Jackson. He was like, listen, Michael Jackson is cool, but it's not only Michael Jackson. You need to go through Stevie Wonder and understand the real power of singing and technique and stuff like that. So when I started listening to Stevie Wonder, he rocked my world because he's a pianist, he's a singer, he's blind, his
He's
technique is,
everything. He's everything. I mean, those albums from the 1970s,
yeah.
Stevie was doing everything on those records. He was, you know, writing the songs, playing all the instruments, playing the drums, playing the piano,
Yes.
singing, and he was in his early 20s. It's interesting to me because I'm such a Stevie Wonder fan. It's
Oh
always
wow.
it's a huge. I'm a huge fan, and it's always glaringly obvious to me. It seems that he's not known as much by Iranians. I'd say Marvin Gaye as well. In other words, if you mention Pink Floyd or even Metallica or King Crimson, Iranians know them. But Stevie, they might have heard of him, but they certainly don't know the back catalog other than a couple of the hit songs. Do you have any theories as to why that school of soul music, that Motown, didn't make its headway into Iran the way some other things like art rock did?
Well, I think that when I talk to older generation that are maybe kind of, maybe I would say more modern, but even though I don't really like that word, but like my parents, for example, they were very modern before Shah.
Mhm.
Most of the people that lived in big cities and where even at that time when they would listen, either my mom would say we listen, the only person we would listen to is maybe Gugush for Persian, as a Persian singer, but we would only listen to non-Persian music, Americanized Western,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
uh, like my mom knew Stevie Wonder, my dad knew Stevie Wonder, they would know James Brown, but I don't know. After that, I feel like it's weird. Like a lot of people, they know Stevie Wonder's song without knowing it's Stevie Wonder. They might
That's
know
true. That's probably true. Yeah.
which by the way, it pisses me off every time. They might know Hello, but might not know necessarily Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. Yeah.
But Michael Jackson, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's maybe it was less pop than Michael Jackson, but again, I don't like what I'm saying right now. I don't even like the way I'm explaining it. It's
No,
just weird.
there is just I'm sure. First of all, your parents were obviously very cool. I'm sure that there's a lot of people I don't, and there's people probably listening right now around the world going, of course we know Stevie Wonder,
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, but
Uh,
I do think that if I were to, for example, juxtaposed against Pink Floyd, where we've done an entire series on this program about the fascination, the connection Iranians feel to Pink
yeah.
Floyd, I don't necessarily see that with someone like Stevie. Now, not to go too far into the Stevie Wonder rabbit hole, because I want to cover your career here, but is it true you performed with him, or you appeared, or you did some sort of tribute? What was it with you and Stevie?
Yeah. There was a show in Los Angeles. I think it was the House Full of Toys. He does it every year. I don't know, maybe it was the 12th one or 13 years. I don't remember which one it was, but it was definitely his show House Full of Toys, where he invites so many huge stars. When I was there, I know that Justin Bieber, Drake, Michael McDonald, which no way Persian would know Michael McDonald, by the way. That one is like, forget it. But
Stevie
I'm saying,
Wonder's not on the radar. Yeah.
yeah. No. So many huge stars sang, and I think that's the concert he had where I did sing a part of a verse of his new song.
Mm.
Yeah, and it was his new album. I think the name of the album was A Time to Love. It was, I believe, it's his last album. He never did another album after that, maybe singles. But he was on the piano playing his songs, but we were a few singers sharing that song, and I
Yeah.
had and I was huge. I mean, it was like, and I was the singer who was the closest to Stevie Wonder. I was like, oh my God.
Amazing, amazing. Kamyar, help me
My
understand.
bike, I
Yeah, go
changed
ahead.
my bike that night, I think, because my whole life I was like, my biggest dream is to be on stage with Stevie Wonder. And when I did that, I came back home, I changed my bio online. Like, I actually sang with Stevie Wonder.
Right, right. Well, yeah, it's quitting time. Go hang out at a casino in Vegas. You don't need to do. You've already sung with Stevie Wonder. What else is there to do? Help me understand. I don't say this with any lack of respect, but help me understand how you are an Iranian pop star, because you grew up in France. I mean, it would be natural for you to sing in French or emerge out of the French music scene. Is it strange for you that you ended up a Persian star, a Persian artist?
um, Feeling that I'm Iranian is not strange at all, being Persian, but having a star status, I would say, becoming known first in the Iranian Persian community, that was at that time, at that age, completely unexpected because I mean it was, I kept singing R&B and stuff like that. So, but I really have a huge love for Persian music too, especially when I say Persian, because for me Persian music doesn't mean shit, honestly, because Persian is a language. It's like I tell you, I'm singing English music. English is not a style. It could be with a Chinese scale, but it's language. So first of all, we need to establish that. But but I actually, this is the what I wanted to do in Iran is like Persian music could, it might only mean traditional
Right.
classical music
Right.
because what is it? It's just language. So then I start singing R&B, but that helped me to connect with musically with Iran. But at home we would always speak Farsi, so I'm saying that part, feeling Iranian, French Iranian, was absolutely not a challenge. But starting and singing in Farsi with another feeling, that was extremely weird, extremely weird.
Well,
But
that's what I'm thinking. I mean, you can, you can. I mean, I played in a band for years. It wouldn't have occurred to me, even though I'm Iranian. Both my parents are Iranian. I love being Iranian, but because I grew up outside of Iran, I was
yeah,
singing in English. It would make sense to me that you would sing in French. That's what
yeah,
you're hanging around with a bunch of French kids. You're in the French culture. You're probably listening to seeing French stars on TV, whatever. So it's very curious to me that you went in that direction. It's a little reminiscent of someone like Irfan, who grew up in California.
yeah,
And I always tell him, like, before I met him, I thought he was like some kid from somewhere in Iran because, he's so Iranian in his music.
yeah.
But for him, it was more of a tactical decision. He says, he thought there's more of um, a niche that he could fill in Iranian hip hop, whereas there's so much going on in English hip hop. Was it a decision for you at some point? Like, hey,
I,
I'm actually going to do this in Persian.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Anyways, I was always singing so many languages. Like I was singing a lot in Arabic, even Hebrew, Armenian. Like today, I might sing like around 9, 10 languages, but language is not a barrier. But the real reason why I started, I think, and I'm not gonna lie, the Persian industry was never the target for me.
Hmm.
I had this American dream first to make it in America, and I'll start traveling with my tourist visa so many times, and I ended up meeting Shahbal Shapare. And anyways, I was like, shit, I have to live in this country. I cannot stay 3 months, go back 3 months. I mean, at some point, they're gonna tell me like, what are you doing, like immigration. So I had to find a way to stay here, and I realized I wanted to work in Vegas actually. I'm talking about 20 years ago,
Right.
at least. And I met some people. I was like, oh, yeah, we can hire you. Oh my God, like I did some kind of audition, and they were like, but so what's your status? I was like, do you have a work permit? I was like, no. Oh, you're a tourist visa, but how are we going to do that? You need a sponsor. I mean, it's going to be complicated. And then I realized, shit, I need a sponsor. So it's funny. I met Shahbal Shapare because then it was advised to me that through the Persian market, maybe because you're Iranian and you're a great singer, whatever, that might help and whatever. And that's how it started. I was like, oh, Persian market, seriously? Me? What the hell am I gonna do? And that's how,
Interesting.
and then I was like, no, actually it could be cool. And Shahbal saw that, what, we can bring the R&B flavor in the Persian market. He believed in that. It was like betting.
I mean, he's great that way. He's done, that he has that kind of industry about him. He's spotting people and bringing them up like he did with you. Before
Yeah.
we get to that, let me just go backwards for a second, back to you being in France, because um I'm curious about you as a little kid in France after the 1979 revolution. I mentioned we have some stuff in common. It was a confusing and difficult time to be an Iranian in the West. I experienced it here as a kid in Canada. How would you characterize that period as a young boy growing up in an Iranian family in France during the Khomeini years?
Uh, it was honestly very tough for me, even though, I mean, I was kind of still a baby, obviously, but I felt completely confused. I even if I started to understand French when they would speak to me, I would refuse to answer them back. So that was starting to become a huge problem. My parents had to talk for me or answer to someone. I was just confused, and it took time until I start responding to
Mm.
people directly or in French. Maybe I felt a little bit with friends, but I think geographically I was completely confused, and French, I mean, it's a huge difference. The culture is very different, so honestly, it was super confusing. And I mean, obviously, you're And when you start growing up, you start feeling even more different. Like, okay, like white people, French, Iranian, Arabs, it becomes very confusing, you know?
Yeah.
And you're a kid, I guess you're more pure in your judgment. So the there are questions unconsciously that you have, but you cannot really express them. And back in the time, I mean, I don't know if that's really what you're asking me, where we're going is correct, but back in the time, then I realized what racism could be or not, and there was a border. So
You said it. I saw in one interview you did. You said there were some teachers who gave you a hard time. Even that it was. I guess you felt like another, or you felt like somebody, an immigrant, an alien. You didn't feel like you always fit in. Would that be true?
yes, yes. So what's funny is, but because honestly, I hate being the one that plays the victim. I think a lot of people play the victim card, and I'm very careful the way I express because I do not like to exaggerate something. You know, of course, I I witnessed racism, but it was not necessarily in quantity. It was not necessarily directly saying, "Oh, you're not French." Not that was rare. It exists, but that's rare. It's the way they would treat you, like, "Oh, obviously you got like kind of like you feel you guys are different," or where you would be in the class, or with who you would be. You know, I was a lot because like if the Latin community is huge, for example, in America, the Arab community from Maghreb, is huge in France. So
Right.
I would be seen for a French person, French perspective, like an Arab, which I didn't even care because actually so many of my friends were Arabs at that
Right.
time. And it's
Right.
kind of understand each other. We're different, I guess. So we're supposed to hang out with each other. And that's funny. Unconsciously, you think that that's normal as a kid. So
Yeah.
I'm more accepted there, and you start behaving a little bit different. So I got really confused about that. But very soon I became different with my Arab friends, immigrant friends, because I start uh, hanging out with kind of like the ghetto, non-French, Arab or black person, let's say, and the very blonde how do you say it? Like the
Elite.
symbol, the
Yeah.
curly hair with glasses, like like both make fun of each other, and both would ask me, how do you hang out with this and the other extreme too? And I really loved both sides. I was so passionate, and maybe the artistic part in me is like I saw the good in everyone. And this is a huge difference between me and all the kids. And I felt disconnected. And I feel, regardless if it was in France, I was in France or not, anywhere I was in my class,
Hmm.
I saw the best through everyone, the good. And at that age, people are not like that. Kids are assholes.
Right. I very much appreciate your desire to not exaggerate or play the
Yeah,
victim. That's a very at the same time. I mean, look, it was a different era. It was coming being a kid in the 80s and 90s after the revolution in Iran, and I mean, hopefully some kids don't experience all of the kind of things that they may have back then today. I'm
yeah.
curious when you're taking these piano lessons. I think your mom had encouraged you to, and you're in classical music, and you end up going to university to study English at Sorbonne. I'm probably guessing that was Persian parental pressure to satisfy the parents. At what
You know
point in
what?
your mind are you going, I actually want to, maybe I can make a career in music? When did that occur to you?
I think that was before going to university already in what in America we call high school. We call it lycée. Uh, that's where it was very confusing. Do I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer like my dad? But music, but I mean, you know, uh, how can I tell you? Like it, I think in when I started to go to university and I started really hanging out with adults, which was a freedom for me, seriously. Like if we want freedom in Iran, in our country right now, and we want a new revolution, like, and a huge change, my revolution was in university, finally with civilized world, a civilized people,
Yeah.
because I found my the people I was in the class very, I don't want to say stupid, but very awkward. Like when I reached the adult world, like people much older than me sometimes, it was freedom. And then I knew that that has to become a job, not just a passion. It could become a job. People start respecting me like it was crazy. Like, but obviously you have to become a singer. So I think I always knew that, but it's like it becomes obvious and loud. It's like it was unconscious before. Now it's conscious, obviously. And going to university study language, it was, I think, a compromise. It was the best, smartest compromise because, first of all, the English language is very important. You can, I'm going to be singing in English too, anyways. I'm going to be traveling all around the world. So I think it was the smartest decision. It was completely matched with music, I think.
Don't be khajalati or don't taught off here. You're an amazing singer. I mean, you're a really great singer. Was that apparent by the time you're a teenager or when you're in university, or is that something that you honed in the years after that when you went to LA, etc.?
You mean when you talk about my parents? What are you
No,
trying to say?
I'm talking about your voice. Your voice. Your great singing voice. When did
Okay.
that emerge? When do you know that you have that good a voice?
Oh, okay. Again, it's all the source of everything what is in cafeteria. That's the magic happened there. I became a singer officially in that cafeteria. I started singing Michael Jackson like secretly, like and I was extremely shy to sing with my voice for someone. I would just imitate opera or do stupid voices, even use some techniques, but I was extreme. For me, singing, like seriously singing in front of a crowd and not just play piano, it's like taking my clothes off, being naked, and a horrible feeling. But piano, no, I would show off. Yeah, I'm the best here, but uh, but singing is I was in the cafeteria and I thought there was no one there, and I start saying, "You are not alone. I am here with you." It sounds like Michael Jackson, but it was still one. It was part of my voice too when I sing soft. And a girl who was Armenian, her name is Nora, heard me, and I thought there was nobody. It was, oh my God, what, you don't only play piano? Oh my God, do you realize your voice? Ladies can fall in love with you. That's why. Oh my God, and that changed my life. And I started singing in front of my mom, who has a teacher appearance when she needs to discover something new. It's always like a judge. I'm always scared of her to show her something new because an
Right.
option.
Right.
And singing, and we did a meeting with all my friends who came support me because like I'm scared to sing in front of my mom. She need to approve that, because she was a singer, and she sang in
I
front
know
of
she played the accordion, but I didn't know she was also a singer.
especially a singer. She sang for the Shah, Farah, the Queen, the King of Iran. She she got a prize, everything.
Yeah.
She was a huge influence in music and singing too.
So what
So
did she say when you sing for her the first time?
what she had her glasses and her my mom will never give you directly, that's her style, directly a compliment. It's like when I sang, I think I sang Hello from Lionel Richie, but I was like trembling because like, oh my God, and my friend are here, am I gonna make a fool out of myself? Then I finished the song, I was like, so like, and my friends are, well, with her glasses, apparently I see your friends enjoying, they're respecting you, and everybody is like, I assume you must have some voice. I hear that different than before, so it's interesting. Okay. And then slowly but she was my biggest fan when I say that, but she that's
But
think
hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me just get this straight. You assembled some of your friends
yeah,
to effectively audition for your mom.
yeah, because I was super scared. No, do it,
What's
bro.
the worst that could happen? Your mom would. I mean, would she actually say you have a bad voice or something?
Because let me tell you, because I never was able, I never had, I don't want to use bad words, but never had the balls, sorry, to sing in front of my mom seriously. It was just the question of just playing piano. That's it. So when I would make noise, like oh, whatever, basically I was shy. I couldn't sing with my voice, so I would play it stupid. So she would always respond like, oh, please, please stop singing. Just
Right.
playing piano. We don't want you to sing. Nobody wants you to sing. It's okay. It's okay. Leave that one for me. You know? So when I grew up with that, there's no way that you find the strength to seriously sing because you feel you're gonna be stupid. Until my friends told me, like, are you kidding me? And
I
then I started singing with my voice in front of my mom. And we
I
made it official. It was like a ceremony. So she had to listen to me. She had to have clean ears when she hear me. Okay, there's something going on. There's 10 people in my house. Okay. Okay.
I
Apparently,
think I think Nora in the cafeteria deserves royalties for the next 30, 40 years. I mean, Nora discovered, forget Chapeau Chaparet, Nora
yeah,
discovered you in the cafeteria.
yeah. Because she would beg me to sing again, continue. I was like that. Sing again. I swear to God, I'm a woman. This is crazy. She would find a language to make me comfortable. Like, and I was like, you're kidding. You're just making fun of me. You know, I was like, I turned red and everything. And so she convinced me. And because she's a great musician, a great pianist, it's her job. So she knew how to talk to me. She was like, that was amazing. And I said it on TV. I said it everywhere. Yeah.
Where
That
was
no,
where did you play for your mom at your at home? Where was this famous audition for your mom?
yeah. It was in a city next to Paris, in the region of Paris, and we had a house back in the time. And my parents bought me a Yamaha piano, so that's how it started since I was 10, 11 years old. And I think I was maybe 18 years old. It was very late, actually, somehow. 17, 18 years old, 19 years old when I started to sing.
And
And
you did the Lionel Richie song. You did "Hello" for her.
hello, maybe I just called to say I love you, but hello was my biggest audition song, regardless if it was from started with my mom or with any audition anywhere. That was my karaoke sing. I own that song. Like it changed my career.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it shows some range because you're doing the Michael Jackson stuff and you're doing the Stevie kind of stuff, and then Lionel's got a deeper voice. I mean, compared to Michael, so it's impressive stuff. I find this decision that you make in 2003 to go to the U.S. We say
yeah.
these things. Well, and he moved to the US to pursue, and it all seems very normal. And especially for Iranians, because there's been so much migration. People like our parents moved to the other side of the world, especially in difficult times. But it's still kind of a big deal, for somebody to pick up like you did you're basically 20 years older, or maybe, I don't know, around that age. And you go, okay, I'm gonna go to the US. It's an audacious decision. Tell me about making that choice. You're leaving your friends, you're leaving your family, you're potentially leaving your comfort zone.
I was also leaving the streets of Paris because at that time I was still singing a lot in the streets of Paris with my two friends and a hat and in the metro station, train station, and in front of church Notre Dame, Montmartre. So that was my biggest school to really what they say become a man but in music, like especially at that time they would talk like that. That's how I first made my first penny. So I think that really made me what we understood back in the time when they said, oh, you become a man, so singing in front of a crowd that you did not choose, and that crowd did not choose you. And then when
Yeah.
it started becoming a job for me, I very soon realized that France is not an option for me. When in America we say sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. Um, you can't really fly. You can't really. You feel there's a roof in France. Something is stopping you. That's in music term. It's like there's a limiter compressor. It's like that. So you're gonna stay here. You
Mhm.
know, we're not gonna let you go down, but you can go much up. And the way you go up in France, it's like I found it at that time pretty disgusting how to make it. It was not completely unfair. So I had that American dream. And funny thing is that the last gig I did in France before moving to America, the place was called Amer- American Dream. That's
Mhm.
some type of cabaret. You would have some dancers too, semi strippers, but I was just singing there. It was very, very tough. One of
You
very
weren't
tough.
you weren't stripping yourself.
No, no, no. I wasn't. I was the one of the only men working there. It was not a strip club. Don't get me wrong. It was some. It was a cabaret. It was a cabaret, but you would have singers too, a few. But you had to be very good because
Kamyar, was there a moment where you go, yeah, I have to. This is the moment I'm going to
yeah.
go to the States. What was that moment?
Okay, the time I got really it was ugly and I got disgusted. I did some audition for TVs, so I reached that step that you're gonna start going on TV and you'll see it as like a The Voice type or whatever.
Right.
So I don't remember the name of the show, but it's kind of like American Idol, but back in the time in France. And I saw how better I was at some points, like if it was 20 of left or 15, like that kind of the final step. Uh, I saw like it was completely unfair how they would choose the singer, and when I witnessed it one, two, three times, and then when I start seeing the other contestant telling me honestly, we don't understand why you're not going higher at that point, you know, I got so disgusted. I was like, okay, you know, I traveled to America. I didn't know why first, maybe to see what's going on. And then I saw, oh my God, how I got respected fast. I'm different, regardless if it's in the Persian community or American. I
Yeah.
would know. I know how to do stuff they don't know. Like I would mix R&B and Middle Eastern stuff. Like, you know, like I would sing like a black singer, you know, with black influence, but I would do stuff that they wouldn't know how to do it, you know, mix it with Middle Eastern. So they would
Yeah.
see me very unique. They see you like art really paid there, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, I have to go there. This is like freedom. I felt I was flying. Seriously, it was freedom there. But it was very hard
Why was it hard?
because you live with your parents, you have all this affection, this love. And I had the best parents in the world who supported me with music from day one, as long as I proved that that's going to be a real job, not just the passion, the piano, and you know, in the living room, wasting my time for another career.
Right.
When they realized that, you know, this is a real job and I'm getting respected and there's a future, that's how they pushed me even more. Okay, go 100%, forget about university, whatever, go, you know. And leaving them and being so far from them, from my brothers, from you know, that's how I felt. You know, I really grew up. But that was also freedom for me to do
Well,
what I had to.
it was clearly, I mean, it's seldom this clear that one gets a result the way you did in terms of this being a wise decision career wise, because of course you moved to the States in 2003. And as you said earlier, that fateful meeting with Chapelle Chaparet, that connection that is made, and you end up becoming one of the lead members of this
Yeah.
legendary group named Black Cats. I want to just situate you for anybody who, most people will know this already, but with just a massive hit song that you end up being the lead singer on. Take a listen to this. I know that song. If you're
Yeah. No,
that's this massive hit for Black Cats.
yeah.
A little taste of Jooneh Khodet, and that's from the early 2000s, and that features, of course, Kamyar, my guest today. Tell me, take us back to that time. This kid. I mean, yes, you had some success in, you know, busking in France, etc. But you've come to America, and you're suddenly thrust into this situation with this legendary band, and you have this massive hit. How much did that song and that moment change your life?
Well, that song definitely changed my life because I think it's like a stamp. It's like if you think of Michael Jackson and you think of Billie Jean, you know, it might piss him off sometimes. Like, leave me alone with Billie Jean. Come on, I have other songs too, you know. Or Stevie Wonder with "I Just Called to Say I Love You."
Right,
Let's say
right.
everybody has a song like whatever you do. So that became the song. But I think my life even changed with our first song, which became a pretty big hit. But even though it was not Jooneh Khodet, it was still a hit. It was Nemi Khamed. That was the first song, the first experience, the first appearance, a music video, like wow, new Black Cat singer. Oh my God, Kamyar, what a new star! I really felt the first revolutionary thing through Nemi Khamet, because the beat was funky mixed with Indian, and we were at the same time in the studio with Arash, who was really singing. It was the same type of song. It was crazy. It was a big coincidence, and that really changed my life. I was really introduced suddenly and became overnight a star in the Persian community. I was almost not ready for that. I was like, what the hell happened? Oh my God. Like, you would go outside, people would stop you. I was so shy in this regard. Yeah. And,
Are you a shy guy?
well, on stage, I'm absolutely not shy. Like, I do not appear shy. I feel like kind of like I'm Muhammad Ali Clay. Like, oh, I'm going to kick some ass. It's so cool. Like,
Right.
but it's very fun in a very healthy way. You know, I really want to be the best, but in a very healthy way, sport spirit. And but when I go out of the stage, I walk, and when I get this amount of love and compliments, it humbled me so much that I feel so uncomfortable. I could be shaking, I could become numb everywhere. You know, like when your blood cannot circulate anymore in your feet, when
Yeah.
and you don't, and this is what happened on my face. It stopped trembling, and I need 10-15 minutes to come back, especially if emotionally I went very far. And it's like now you're back in the real world, and I have really hard time to handle this love or this fame. So it was always but I realized that that was my strength, like as an artist, or to be myself, or to express myself musically like that, because that's who I am.
What happens with Black Cats? I mean, I want to get to your debut solo album that is in 2010. Why did it not continue with Black Cats?
Well, let's put it that way. We had a professional and mature contract for 5 years, and we were shareholders. I believe we can call it like that. For the first time in Black Cats, we really were having shares, like percentage stuff like that. It was the main Black Cats business wise was, of course, Shahbal Shapare. That's his, anyways. Then there was me, Schubert Avakian, and Ramin Zoka,
Mm-hmm.
four of us. And then two other also joined in the image of Black Cats, but they're not shareholders. My best friend, my brother Hakim,
Okay.
who I sang with in Paris, in the streets of Paris and everywhere. I made my first penny with through him. You know, he took me in the streets, and so I brought him in Black Cats. So he was part of the image of Black Cats, and Gilbert Avakian was the percussionist, who was Schubert's brother. So we were working together, and it was amazing. But I think our brains were so, you cannot have 3-4 leaders working at the same time, especially if it's Shahbal, me, and Schubert. Especially us three, actually, because Ramin was more like, okay, we do whatever you want, you know. He was okay, you know. uh and uh and I think Schubert, Shahbal, and me, in long term, it could create some type of conflict. It could become political sometimes, musically. No, it's not really about money. It's like, it's the position you have and everything, and it would change. It's like waves. But the amount of love I have for both of them is like really huge. I mean, Shahbal is really like my father in America. Like the relationship I have with him is magic. But I just believe it's like you can not have three leaders, three presidents being president for one country. It's impossible. So I had to fly with my own wings. I felt the fourth and fifth year, I felt like when I have my concert, I need to speak now. I have stuff to say. It might not be compatible. And Shabal was very smart and he realized that. So it was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. We should actually go our own way. And there was no fight. There was nothing. It was beautiful.
That is the most diplomatic explanation of a breakup I may have ever heard. It was beautifully done. Although it leads to my next question, which is that when your first solo album comes out in 2010, Dobareh,
Yeah,
Dobareh is the name of the album. It's a huge hit. Was
yeah.
a cathartic step out for you in that you were proving to yourself and others that you could do this alone?
I was so, oh my God, I was so scared after Black Cats. First of all, I was crying from love and fear. Like the last gig I had with Black Cats was I was in tears the whole gig. It was horrible. And after that, I felt really like a baby who like, can you fly by your own? I mean, it's and but Black Cats was my biggest school, so I learned so much from Shahbal, so much how to talk to people, how to the good, the bad, and then I met, and then I found my own dictionary in the business and music now. But I really learned all this the way to deal with Persian. I learned it from Shahbal, and I really had to prove myself because Kamyar, we know you as Black Cats. Like I was under the shadow of Black. It was Black Cats umbrella, and I'm here. But Kamyar, you by yourself. What can you do?
And
But
by the way, it's not always a given that you're going to have a hit if you leave
no,
that bit. I mean, even Mick Jagger's solo albums have never done that well. People, even though he's the leader, he's the lead singer, he whatever, people want him in the Rolling Stones. So it's
yeah,
audacious to say, okay, I'm going to leave, and now I'm going to try and do this by myself, right?
but well, my biggest problem was like I was smart and no, not smart. Sorry, I don't like to say that. I was very conscious about that. That might not work, and it's going to be very hard. Don't think that. And I saw examples of people that group that they broke up and nothing happened, at least for some of them, or maybe none of them actually. So I was very aware of that. So I was very hungry, like really, like I had to, it reminded me of a Roqe movie. Like he really wanted to make it, like it was like tough. And so I did everything. My first hit song was Yebus Bede. That was my proof to say that, okay, I'm Kamyar, it's me. And I remember I brought Shahbal for two reasons. One of them was love. And now I'm going to be honest with you. One of them was love because Shahbal, he came in the video just as a, like a guest,
Yeah.
which confused the image again because like, wait, it's not Black Cats. I feel now I did it out of love, but also out of some type of safety. Like
Uh-huh.
just appear just for a few seconds, but it was cool. But also it showed that it was a nice broke up, it was not a breakup actually. But and then after the single, it became part of the album Dobareh. When Dobareh came out, then I knew that wow, I made it. Like Yebus Bede was a transfer, but Dobareh was boom. That was like, oh, that's me, 100%. Now it's a funky rhythm, bass, like with Hakim's bass. That's me. And when everybody starts saying like that, it was like, oh wow, I made it, man. And then of course, John, Dobareh Mishe, Nazdike Man. I had all this dream that okay, I want to use the Baba Karam rhythm, but with some rhythm and blues. Bia yekam nazdik man, like R&B rhythm and blues and Baba Karam mix. I start being me. This is me in the Persian market.
Let me play a little bit of that Nazdiki. Great video to that song too.
Yeah.
I was thinking of when you were talking about things going inside your body and feeling that. I was thinking about the video to Nasty Command. So there's all these hit songs. I mean, this album is it's Adele-esque in terms of the way it affects the Persian pop market. You come out and you've got all these songs that become big songs. It's your debut. It's no secret that what happens after that is a source of some discussion and confusion for people because you disappear or you don't put out music for a few years after that. You've talked a little bit about this, but do you have a perspective now on what you went through or why you didn't follow that up
Yeah.
for a few years?
Yeah, so it's not that I was not doing anything, but it's like I would release a single once every back in the time, not now, but not I wouldn't release anything for 2 years, suddenly a year and a half. And I think it's a disease. It's a disease. It's a star disease. It's a success disease. And you start having so many hits, you're doing good, and that's why I purposely used the word hungry before. After Black Cats, I had to prove myself. You get to a point, we all go through that. You don't need to prove yourself, so you're enjoying your royalties, kind of, so you don't feel the urge to release a song to prove, which is very dangerous. And you can watch the career of so many stars, and you see their ups and downs, and 90% of it, consciously or unconsciously, has to do with that disease of success and hunger that it changed, and you start traveling. You think you don't feel the urge to releasing songs. It's funny. You go more going live, you doing from like huge concerts or like private events, and you start traveling. You're becoming a tourist. You're becoming a tourist of your own spa, of your own success.
Is it ego related? Do you feel like you got too little too happy with yourself?
Okay, since for me, it never was ego. Ego was never, never, ever an enemy, because I was very aware of it, and the way I grew up and the way I started music from the streets or whatever, ego was not an issue. It was just, I think, that urge. I was discovering the success of Kamyar, the brand Kamyar, and I was surfing on that wave. But I remember also I had some type of depression too, because of problems that I had with relationships and I don't know, identity, love, relationship, and becoming American. I had some immigration issues too back in the time. I don't want to go too much through that, but I had an O1 visa. It was complicated, and I was kind of in danger.
It expired? What
Yeah,
the O1?
yeah, I can't really go through details, but I'm saying it was expiring, and it was, so many other problems became like priority. So when you see your house shaking, and it's not necessarily music related, so you don't have the tools, those tools to just focus on music. So my focus was something else, and that was a horrible time too. Success was, and then I couldn't leave the country. So at the peak of my success back in the time, after the Dobareh album, I could not tour outside of America. So it was horrible.
Huh.
So
What a juxtaposition. It's usually for Iranians in Iran that they can't leave, and here you are in America, and you can't leave America to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Does it then, when you've had this successful debut album without these hit songs, and for all of these different reasons that you've just laid out, you're taking some time and for the next one, in terms of a next album rather than a few singles, etc., does it then start to become an albatross? Does it then start to become this big weight of, oh God, how am I going to follow that up? How am I going to have the next Dobareh? Does that start to weigh on you?
Yeah, of course. It started because all my friends, my family, everybody kept complaining about that, to the point that it started to irritate me. I didn't want to hear, like let's say your friend at that time is, why are you not releasing song? Why are you? It's a shame, whatever. It would get to a point that I would be so irritated that I would run away from you. I would leave and it would piss me off, because they're saying something that is true. They don't know what I'm going through. And they're absolutely right. So what hurt me the most is, shit, they are absolutely right. They're showing my reflection in the mirror, and I can smell it. It's don't talk about it, and I could not find a solution to. And so I think I need to go through it. We all need to go through bad experience to find yourself, and you choose, either you're gonna go down after that, or you're gonna go up. So I had to kind of look, So.
Muhammad Ali. What did your parents say at that time? What did your dad say?
Oh man, the closer you get to the family, the worse it is to hear that. Is like, especially my mom, because my mom leave her dream through me too, because she couldn't become a professional singer, back in the time, and she's part of me, I'm part of her, so it was very heavy from her, and I would sometimes beg them to listen. Can we not talk about that? I don't want to talk about that because I don't know. I stars, I don't know, and I didn't know what music because let me tell you the problem with me. I feel like a supermarket of I'm what's maybe I'm kind of known as an intellectual singer, so it's you see it as a supermarket even if it's a cheap word to use. I have so much to offer. Basically, I can do so many different things, it's which is part of the talent when people talk about you. Oh my God, you can sing Middle Eastern, you can do R&B, you can do piano, you can do Latin, you can do all
Right.
the languages,
Right.
every French style, not just the language, old school French style. It's great, but to a point when you hear all this, it's like, okay, what do I want to do seriously? Do
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
John
yeah.
Laboche? Do I want to say, hey, John Laboche, or do I want to say, like, I don't know, مشت منو سرسختی دیوار? Do I want to sing some Farhad style? It became a to be or not to be Shakespeare issue. And I think that issue became bigger than what it really was, because when you start thinking too much, it becomes too much intellectual. That
Yes.
becomes a new enemy, and you start. It smells even more now. It's like, what the fuck? It's like your glasses start to become so. How do you say tar? Like,
Yes.
you know,
Wow.
can't
Do,
you?
how do you work your way through that?
I believe with leaving everyone, going on a trip, going just being yourself, going, I don't know, for example, in Thailand, and go somewhere with a complete different culture, somewhere where the fuck am I? What language are they speaking? Oh my God, far from everyone, far from people that you might really love, and no influence, just you and you. That's it.
Right.
And things, and with traveling, I always say to people, travel, because every time you travel, regardless of the experience you have, you're going to upgrade. It's like an iPhone. You have to sync it somewhere.
I
Traveling,
totally agree.
go
100%.
out, go out of your comfort zone. Come
100%.
and me.
You know,
You know.
it's so interesting hearing you tell this story because I was thinking about I was going to get to you being on The Voice, and there's a lot of these The Voice Persia, and a lot of these young singers and musicians would look up to you. And I asked Ervin a similar question when he was on not long ago, but for someone like you, even though you're not a particularly old guy, but you've now lived through a number of things. You've lived through singing in a culture that in France that is a smaller music industry, coming to America, having a big hit with a band, having a solo debut album, working your way through not having a follow up right away, all of that. Tell me a bit about the advice you would give a 20-year-old singer today who says, Kamyar, I want to be like you. What comes to mind? What is the best way you can counsel these younger artists who look up to you?
Well, actually, it's a good thing because I do a masterclass of singing where kind of like shortcut to teach people a lot one by one. It's not necessarily that official yet, even though we have a website. It's like My Star Academy, but it didn't really start officially. But I already have one-on-one session with people all around the world. But it's kind of exclusive. And masterclass that are group masterclass too. So it's funny. Some of them are known singers, but we just agree to famous singers, but we just agree to not say it because they might not want to know that. Oh, Kamyar is, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
But there are singers, amazing singers that are not known that ask me this, and that's part of my master class. Is when you say you want to become like me, what do you mean? Are you talking just about, oh, I want to be known, or oh, I want to be a different singer? Because I want to be like you could mean everything and nothing. Because
Right.
then it goes back to that question. But who are you? Do you know who you are? Be like me, fame. That's not the greatest thing I want to hear. Because fame could automatically come with what you have. Then we can talk about marketing, but that's a different thing. But It's what's that? Why do you want to be different? Because when Shavel asked me that question, I was very clear about it. I knew what I want to do. Yes, I love Stevie Wonder, but I don't want to become Stevie Wonder, but I have a huge influence. Influence is beautiful. Getting inspired is beautiful. In my master class, I want to continue being an inspiration, but for you to find yourself. So my first thing is, did you find yourself? Find yourself, be yourself, and ask yourself, what is different about you? Stevie Wonder did that. Moeen did that. A.B. Dariush did that. But your name, let's say, is Abbas. Why are you different? What? Because you need to be different than me. You could still be R&B, soul, funk, whatever. But what is it that is different about you? And that's the main question. Where sometimes they threw up God, like oh shit, and then you see, okay, do you have the real reason do you really have it to become? Because it's vocal aside, it's not just how good. Even if the singer is a great singer, I could tell like this person is not necessarily going far. Like it's not made for TV. Maybe you can sing and have the best party as far as private party in your living room, make everyone happy, but you need to be you. And this is what is missing. The real reason why you want to be a singer, the essence.
Hey man, really a pleasure. Merci. And next time in studio, I hope we do this in person.
Yes. You're in Los Angeles.
I'm not.
No, you're not. Where are you?
No, I'm in Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. That's right. So close.
If I was in Los Angeles, I'd tell you to get in a car and drive west for a couple of hours, and we'd do this.
Toronto. Ask you in Toronto maybe then, or in Vegas if you come.
Or in Vegas. It's such a pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for all the time, and we'll keep looking out for your new stuff, brother.
I thank you, your team, everyone, and Payande Iran. I hope we'll do this in Iran, live in Tehran, everywhere.
There you go. Merci. Khodafis.
Khodafis.
All right, there you go. From July of 2023, that's an interview with the great Kamyar. He joined us from Zoom in Los Angeles. I was in our former Roqe studio. Kamyar has, of course, since been putting out brilliant new tracks. I remain such a fan of this guy, and he's performing his dynamic concerts all over the place. We hope we'll have him back on Roqe soon, here in the studio, or maybe at Roqe Live. In the meantime, this is full time for Roqe for today. Thank you to the amazing core team who put this show together each week. Savvy Roham, Super Parisa, and the photo and video queen, Tina Farahi. The new season of Roqe launches September 10th, just in a couple of weeks. Special thank you as well to our extended family of Roqe humans, Smart Pega, Charming Kimia, Talented Anahita, Methodical Kaber, The Rising Keon. Thank you to all of you guys, and thank you to you out there for supporting us and sharing our content. Now, if you don't subscribe already, here's your chance. Press the subscribe button. It's free. You can do so on any or all of our platforms, including Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, etc. You can find us on Instagram at Roqe Media. You can find me on Instagram at Jian Ghomeshi. And as ever, Mizun Bashi.